Hey there, Lurkers. What do you think about the game of subjective? My blood feud with Joel, a foot follow-up, and Scott Smart or Outsmart?
Sounds like I've still got COVID and I'm sick and tired of it. So let's lurk.
I think I remember a few weeks ago when I was ill and I sat down in this chair to record and I said, I'm not feeling very well. And you said, why? Why, Willy? Tell the Lurkers. Tell them what you have. And I think I lied to them because test after test, wipe after wipe. And guess what, Scott? According
Still
to the
poop.
tests, like a marker, was not sick. Yet, here we are today, Scott.
According to modern science.
Why don't you tell the Lurkers what you've been doing the last week?
So, for those who've been listening to the show for the past 3 years, plus now, whatever it is, thank you, number one. My aching body goes out to you. But Willie and I have been basically been playing this game throughout the entire series called Dodge a COVID. You know, like whack-a-mole, except the other thing. We are the moles. And
Scott's really good at this game.
it finally happened. We are here in the year of whatever Lord you believe in, 2023 still, just for a little while longer. And I finally got COVID.
It's time to insert clapping noises.
So I have to hang up my gold star and hand back all of the trophies. Just, get them cleansed and they go on to the next person who hasn't got it yet. But it's, 3 years on, 3 or 4 vaccinations on. That's right. I've got 6G. We are we are still feeling like shit. It hit me like a bus going to the state fair.
The irony here is Scott likes to give me a hard time inside the show, outside of the show. But anytime I'm not feeling well, he's like, hey, I heard you weren't feeling well, or I heard this thing happened. Guess how I found out? I didn't find out from my best friend. No, I found out from my wife, who found out from your partner. And guess what, Scott? Guess how I found out that you had COVID?
You found out from your future wife.
From your wife, you son of a bitch. How dare you point one finger at me when all those nubby things are pointing right back at you?
Listen, I can confirm that happened, but it was without my permission. I was curled up in the fetal position, unable to move, lying face down. And so you sent me a text, which was a hilarious Oprah gif saying, you've got COVID and you've got COVID and you've got COVID. Which, in my fever brain, because I had not slept the previous night, I was just sweating and spinning like an alligator in a death roll in my blankets. I thought, Willie gave me COVID? He's got COVID too? When did we hang out last? Like, how is this possible? And then so I turned to my wife, who was standing above me. And at this point, she hadn't
She's just
tested
like
positive.
Was she just like ominously standing above you?
No,
like,
she was
in a
just leaning on the wall, worrying
Okay.
about her getting COVID. Not me being sick and potentially dying. Just her, like what's going to happen to her.
Sure.
And so I go, Willie just sent me a text saying he's got COVID. And she's like, what? He's got COVID? Is that where you got it? And I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. But how? We haven't hung out in a while. And she's like, I just texted Bree that we both have it. And she hadn't tested positive for it yet. She's just like assuming
Okay.
because we slept in the same bed that she's going to
Like
get
a
it.
married couple does. You're
Yeah,
so progressive.
And so I was like, wait a minute. You just told Bree? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, then Bree told Willy. Willy told me. He doesn't have COVID. I have COVID. Like, this is...
So I told you that you have COVID.
Pretty
Congrats,
much, yeah.
buddy.
But that's basically as fast as my brain could work at that point in time. And yeah, oh man. Let me tell you, like, the darkness creeps in real quickly. Like, I was having some crazy vivid dreams. I must
Dude, the
have,
fever
like,
dreams, man. They're
You-
terrible.
Yeah, and like I took some Tylenol before going to sleep just so I could try and get some
Sure.
sleep, but I was waking up every single hour on the hour, and like sometimes I'd wake up in a pool of my own sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm like, "Oh my god, did I pee the bed? Like, is that a symptom?"
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm
happening.
incontinent. No.
It's
I'm too young for this.
Oh, but yeah, like today is the first day that I think I have any energy to do like have a conversation. Like, for the past 4 days, I think I've barely said anything. Yesterday I got up and I mowed the lawn.
I can't believe you did that.
It was exhausting, man. Like, I immediately came in, I almost passed out. Like, I had to like sit down, and like I was seeing stars. Like, I was
Oh
like,
my
oh, okay, that
God.
was way too much. And you don't realize too, like, some of the symptoms are you're not hungry.
Oh, yeah.
So I
You don't
just
wanna
had
eat at
no
all.
appetite. I've been forcing myself to drink. I have no taste or smell right now.
Really?
So I'm down like 3 of my 5 senses.
Oh, no.
Oh, strangely enough, I can see through walls, and I can. So what they say is true. The other ones get enhanced.
Oh, my God. He's superhuman 1/5 of
right.
the time.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I
that's-
hope you feel better.
That's been my week, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last. My buddy was telling me that his sister had it for 17 days, and she's a doctor, and she was like masking in the house,
Ugh.
staying away from everybody else. Like, it's
Speaking of being laid out, I think I lost last week's game of Subjective.
you lost by 1 vote. It
What?
was very close. I know. Thankfully,
You
people are voting
a-holes.
both on Instagram and on TikTok, so we get to like have a little, I'll post it in one spot, and it's only for a day on Instagram, so you got 24 hours to get your votes in. And then in the other spot, it can kind of go the whole week until we start recording again, so votes can come in the last minute. But yeah, I was a strong lead right at the beginning, but like it was creeping up. It was creeping up until today, and then yeah, just 1 vote, man. That's all it takes. You can make a difference, folks.
Well, welcome back to another game of Subjective. This week's Subjective is...
The best state fair foods.
So here's the game. You start with a theme. We pick a team, and you decide who wins. But first, losers say what? Well, I get to pick first.
I want one small caveat. This is best foods, Willy.
No drinks.
No drinks. That's right. You can't just
Okay,
say
we're on the same
beer.
page.
Yeah, all right.
We are both feeling ourselves. To start the game, Mousetrap cheese curds.
That's a great first pick. That was my first pick. You son of a bitch.
Easy mode.
Easy one. All right. This one is probably in the same category. So I have to do it. It's going to be Pronto Pups / corn dogs.
Oh!
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Pronto Pup and corn dog. We're combining those?
Yep. We got to combine them. They're too close.
All right, I'll take that off my list. My number 2, Sweet Martha's Cookies.
Ooh, you're just going down my list. All right, I'm going with fresh corn on the cob.
With the butter and salt and pepper. I will eat an extra one for you tomorrow.
Thank you.
My midway, weird, quirky, wild pick is the Mini Apples deep fried apple pie.
Ooh, nice. That's a good pick. I like that.
Dollop of vanilla ice cream.
I like the cinnamon ice cream on top. It's so good. All right, then for my wild card, I'm going to go with big fat bacon on a stick.
I didn't even know they had that. I'm keeping things sweet. Another good treat in mini donuts.
Okay. All right.
Classic.
You're stealing all the classics. Okay, then for my number 4, we're going with fresh cut French fries.
People love those fries. I don't
do.
understand. I don't get it. My
They
final
sell,
pick.
like metric tons of potatoes every single year, and they're so good.
People think that they're better than all of them, including McDonald's French fries, which I think is blasphemous. My final pick. Big old chunky turkey leg.
Oh, we seriously had the top 5. Honestly, matchy. All right, then for my final one, I'm going with tribute to my wife. We're gonna go with deep fried pickles.
Well, you lovely lurkers, head on over to our socials. All week long, you can give your rating. You can tell us who has the best team. I know that it's me.
He's got a pretty good list. Solid.
But somehow, Scott, I don't think I'm going to win.
I don't think you're going to win either because for those who have been listening to the show for the past few weeks, there's a wild card. A wild card who likes to come in, give their opinions, and then maybe change the tide of the game. For which Willy will promptly shit all over them on the podcast. And Willy, it's kind of like when we play our favorite video game. We have either A, awoken the hive, or B, stepped into a war with the cabal. Because, my God, man, what have you done?
I don't know.
What hath you wrought? Here we are, just trying to include our friend, our confidant, our guest of the show, Joel, in on the activities, but clearly something rubbed him the wrong way.
In all sense of the word, Joel is far more artistic than I am. In creativity, in his ability to draw. Joel, I messed with a hornet's nest, like the human killing hornets, because the other day I wake up and one of the first things I do before opening up TikTok is I open up Instagram. I want to see what my friends are doing, and I see this post that says "Fugly Derpers" starring Willy. Fury Road? Fast and the Furious? Disney? Is that atrocity?
A trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is partially my fault, I believe.
He wrote, just farted, hand checking for poo.
Okay, and then describe the picture of you. He drew a picture of Willy that looks like he's bending over or like in some sort of discomfort, and like he's just sharded himself.
This is post. I'm gonna leave a link to his Instagram in the show notes. But it goes, Scott, and I'm bending over. I poopy again. What did I do?
So okay. So I realized, I think halfway through this, because this was happening while I was sick, that I'm like, did I start this? Did I really ignite this blood feud between Willy and Joel? Because what I've been doing for the socials is I've been going through our raw footage and all the stuff we cut out from the show, like at the beginning before we're just like figuring out how the show's gonna go and like kind of mapping everything out before we say like, hey, what's up, Lurkers? I cut that up into like hype footage for the show, and I'll post that on our socials. Well, sometimes it looks like Willy is saying unfavorable things about Joel. No, you are saying like, screw you, Joel, and fuck you, Joel.
You're not wrong. That's true.
But it's usually not without the context of what else we're saying at the time. So poor Joel, who's like probably our biggest fan of the show, most avid listener, all he hears is this sometimes. And he's like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what
I love it. This last one is a photo of him slapping me in the face.
a la Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Exactly like it. And then at the very bottom it says squirt with a little poof coming out my butt.
I think this is good for both of us, though. This is good for the show. This is good for Joel. Joel's drawing has been on hiatus. You'll notice that he hasn't done a lot.
Yep.
And for him to come out of semi-retirement just to make sure that this is forever etched in digital stone, I'm here for it. I want more of this. I think we should kind of like poke the flames a little bit, like stoke the fire.
So Joel, this is for you. Joel, I'm gonna shit on your chest. Do with that what you will, sir. Now, moving on, Scott, I have to give you a follow-up. I didn't post a link in our notes. We have a shared note so that we can be up to speed. And last week, Scott was like, listen, you MFer, why do we say we're going to share links and then you choose to not share links? It's because sometimes I need to catch you off guard. Did we talked about people with foot fetishes last week, right?
We did. We talked about Margot Robbie being offered a paltry sum of money.
So
custom foot pictures.
If you loved feet,
I do not, but
what's the worst thing you could do with a foot?
The worst thing I could do with a foot?
Yeah, what's the worst thing?
In this scenario, I love feet, and I'm trying to think of the opposite of love.
What's the worst thing you could do in love of feet?
I don't know where you're going with this story, but I'm going to try and guess. Can I guess?
Yeah.
You found the toy with the hole in it, right?
No. I said worst.
Oh, okay.
It's worse than that.
It's worse than that.
Yes.
Well, you could, I don't know, cut it off and put a leash around it and walk it around like it's your dog.
Sometimes, Scott, people lose their dogs. Just like how human feet occasionally wash up on the shores of the Salish Sea between Seattle and Vancouver. But experts say, don't be alarmed.
What? Okay.
So here's the way this article started from Vox.
I need to go to this Wikipedia because I am not familiar with the Salish Sea.
It said, yet another disembodied foot in a shoe has been washed up on a beach along the Salish Sea in the Pacific Northwest. Yet another is the key.
I'm waiting.
How many?
Give me a time period.
5 years.
All right. In 5 years, I'm going to guess there have been 47 feet.
Too many. Okay. Psychopath.
Okay. Let's go with, in 5 years, we've had 17 feet.
Well, Scott, you'd be surprised because it is a small, measly 14 single feet have washed up on the shore. Can you imagine? You want to take a romantic walk with your wife on the beach, and the first thing you see is a foot.
Okay. So Pacific Northwest, there's animals. that will destroy humans. And maybe they're not into feet. You know, it's like the worst smelling part of our body sometimes, which ironically is usually what they go for. But 14 feet in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is it always the same foot?
No, sometimes they'll find one person's foot and then their other foot later.
So there's a serial killer in the Pacific Northwest, right? That's what they're thinking?
Vox goes on to say, though morbid and grisly, there's nothing sinister about these findings, according to scientists and health officials. So, Scott, why? Why do you think feet are washing up on the shores?
How close is this to Portland?
It's between Seattle and Vancouver.
Yeah.
There's like 8.7 million people that live in this area.
Grizzly bears. It's got to be grizzly bears.
No.
Is there a reason? The scientific reason? Like it's in this article?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Grizzly bears is wrong. Then we're going with ospreys. You know, with their talons.
Well, so the first question I want to say
is it not like, animals?
Why feet though? Why wouldn't we find the hand or an arm, the wiener?
Well, you know how like if you start eating a sandwich and you know you're at the beginning and you're like, this is a really good sandwich, I like where I'm going, and then you get to the middle and you're like, yes, this is my favorite part, I was waiting for this for the past 30 seconds, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh man, you know, my eyes are bigger than my stomach, I'm just gonna stop here and throw the rest away. So whoever was eating and devouring these humans, they just, you know, once they got to the feet, they're like, it's bony, it's mostly cartilage, like it's got a shoe on it, and I don't have opposable thumbs to untie it, so I'm just gonna leave it.
This article goes on to explain it a bit more simply. Sad, but a bit more simply. So they wash up because when there's a dead body in water, it's very common that your body disassembles at the joints.
Oh.
And so fish and wildlife will eat that, but your foot is stuck around a shoe, and those things usually float. So when it goes and pops off, it's in the right area where, because it's on the surface, the wind is pushing it that direction. And they say, like, the reason why it's not happening down in, like, San Francisco or Portland is because the way the water is moving is it's pushing it in a different direction. It'll, like, push it up that way. So they say that it's probably just people that, like, unalive themselves.
Oh. That's sad.
Or water incidences where they went, look at me, I'm an idiot, and I'm going to go swim in the ocean and then die.
There's not some weird, like, sacrifice your foot cult up in the Pacific Northwest. Are we sure?
Or at least that's what Vox wants us to believe.
Well, it sounds like all of the smart people up there are really towing the line with that one.
Scott, you sick bastard. All right, you lovely lurkers, it's time for another exciting round of Scott Smart or Outsmart. Are you ready, Scott?
No.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Here's how the game works, lurkers. I've got 5 tricky trivia questions for Scott. For each one that he gets right, he's one step closer to the real answer. Because here's the twist. All of the answers have a connection. So, Scott, if you win... I still have to make those TikToks. I know.
If I win, when you go to the state fair, you have to make 3 more content videos.
Son of a bitch. But if you lose, you have to tell Joel to stop picking on me. That's it. That's all I want.
Okay. I must win.
All right. Question number 1. Which Greek letter is used in math to symbolize standard deviation or summation?
Alpha, beta, gamma, pi, rho, chi, Sigma, Theta, Sigma?
Correct. All right.
Yeah.
With 18 lines of dialogue, what Sleeping Beauty title character is the least chatty Disney princess?
Aurora.
Correct. What does Amistad, the name of the famed slave revolt ship, mean in Spanish?
It's friendship?
Yes, correct. Number 4. What was the first mechanical slot machine named for an American symbol once located in a Philadelphia steeple?
The Liberty Bell?
Correct. And number 5. In Braveheart, when asked to submit with the word mercy, what last word does William Wallace shout instead?
Is it freedom?
That is correct.
Oh boy.
Scott has 5. We've got Sigma, Aurora, Friendship, Liberty Bell, and Freedom. What is the connection?
I don't know.
Lurkers, I tried to give Scott an opportunity to opt out of this week, and he got 5 for 5, so I got nervous, but I knew he would never get this.
Hold on, I still have a guess. Have a guess. They're all... They are all, derby horses.
You said derby horses?
Yeah.
Did you say derby horses?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, that's the stupidest answer because it is so wrong. The answer is space capsules from the Mercury mission.
Oh my god.
He was never gonna get it. Now you have to apologize to Joel for me. That's our show, you lovely lurkers. Thank you so much for watching this week.
We appreciate all of the love. So please be kind to one another. And remember to rate and review no matter where you lurk. We will see you again this weekend.